Bonjour!
Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're gonna talk about Mighty Tank, one of the greatest tanks ever, or I should say used to be one of the greatest tanks ever, aka the FV183. For those of you who are following the channel for a very long time, for the OGs out there that were here 2 years ago, you knew that back in the days my favorite tank in the game was the FV183. Simply because back then the tank was not nerfed. Let me explain to you briefly what I mean before we jump into a replay. Here, when you take a look at the statistics of the tank, you can see that the gun dispersion is quite high, 0.37, even after equipping the right equipments to lower down that gun dispersion. It's the case because Wargaming decided to nerf the gun dispersion by increasing it because the tank was way too accurate back in the days. Back in the days, you had something like 0.32 or 0.33, which made this tank a deadly sniper. And you can imagine that putting this kind of gun dispersion on a tank that is able to do 1.3k damage every time it shots is kind of annoying. But you know what? I think images will prove you more than just talking, so let's go straight into a replay. Here we go 3 years ago, and you can see that judging by the graphics, and it tells you, damn, that game evolved, that game evolved. Anyway, we're not really here to talk about the game graphics, we are here to talk about the mighty FV183, guys. And there are two things that made this tank broken. First thing first, of course, it did not receive the nerf, therefore it had between 0.32 and 0.34 of gun dispersion, depending on what kind of crew you had. If you had a 100% or a 50%, of course, it changes a lot. But there is one last thing that made this tank amazingly OP, and it was the case for pretty much all the tanks in this game. 3 years ago, we didn't have the same equipments as we have today. Today, you have the choice between 9 equipments per slot. And back in the days, it was 9 equipments in total that you could equip, and every single player used the same. Ventilation, gun rammer, and the one that allowed you to decrease your aiming time by 20%. Yes, 20%. And when you use these kind of equipments on an FV183, you allow yourself to literally aim faster, have a way better accuracy, and also reload faster than what the tank is nowadays. Look at this. For example, here our friend is reloading in 18.5 seconds. I don't think it got changed by the new equipments. I think you can still reload the same if you equip your tank properly, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I gotta check. I'm not sure. I don't want to say bullshit, so I'm gonna leave it behind here. And see what happened with the M103 right there. That's something you can only dream of with the nowadays FV183, because the current FV is not meant to have the same kind of playstyle. Because with the previous FV183, unfortunately, our friend doesn't do it in this replay, but with the previous one it was really easy for you to push through because everybody was scared of you. Just imagine 0.33 of gun dispersion on something that is able to put 1.3k every 19.5 seconds. Of course you would be afraid of such a beast, and that's totally logic, and that's exactly why Wargaming decided to nerf it. The problem with this tank is that it was way too easy to do 6k damage before. Everybody was spamming the FV183, to the point it became extremely cancerous for the playstyle and especially the matchmaking, because of course if you want to keep your players playing at tier 10, you need to avoid putting tanks like kind of smasher-like tanks, which is the case of the FV183. And of course, Wargaming did not really learn about their mistakes, because they just decided to remove the OP FV183 just to replace it and put it at tier 7, calling it Smasher. But goddamn, gotta be honest, this tank was a lot of fun. This was my favorite TD back in the days, and that's why it's my tank destroyer with my most played battle. I think I have like 550 battles, something like this with the tank. To be fair, guys, this tank was something. There is one last thing I totally forgot to talk about. One last thing that is extremely important concerning the FV, and I think you saw it with the fight against the T124. The tank also received a mobility buff, nerf, because back in the days it was better. Now, you struggle moving, you struggle with your gun dispersion, you struggle with a lot of things. It came from a tank that you were sure to do at least 3k damage to something that is extremely RNG dependent. And even if I kinda agree with Wargaming on the gun dispersion factor about the nerf, I think they shouldn't have nerfed the mobility of the tank, or at least not too harsh. Because when you don't have the gun, when you don't have the armor, at least please let us have some mobility. But I'm not a developer, it's only my opinion, and I don't really know how the tank would perform with its previous mobility in this game. So, yeah, we'll have to see, Maybe Wargaming will try to change a little bit the AV-183, because nowadays, it's kind of lame to play, and definitely not a good tank to have in your garage. Let me prove my point real quick on what the AV-183 is now, because if I show you a replay, I'm gonna go for a live battle, by the way, guys, but if I show you a live replay just as soon as you saw the AV-183 in its golden age, maybe you will understand how harsh the nerf was. So there we go, we're gonna try something. And already you can see it just by the top speed. On the previous game, the guy was going way faster than I am right now. Here I'm sitting at 23 kilometers per hour, whereas our friend on the other one was at like 30, 32. And even if 8 kilometers per hour doesn't seem a lot, trust me, it is. So we're gonna go for the traditional camping playstyle, which is something I don't really like to do, but hey. What else am I supposed to do with something that has the gun accuracy of a blinded man? At least you still have your penetration. Gotta be honest, penetration is very nice. Come on, can I get him? See? That's what I'm talking about. I should have gone for the 268. I'm gonna try it again. I guess they have a lot of camping players. If the Kranwagen can still spot for me, that would be perfect if I could get like the 268. Ooh. See? 0.37 of gun accuracy. I don't like that tank. I loved it back in the days, but now it just hurts. It's good memories, but I'm gonna die without them. Okay, 268 is not gonna move. Maybe that I'm finally gonna be able to do something. I think this one went through with the hash. Unfortunately, we did not manage to see... Oh yeah, 1.4k damage. See, I can understand why Wargaming did that. I mean, it was logic to nerf that tank because in the current meta, if you had something with 0.34 gun accuracy but able to put 1.3k damage, you would rage, and that's totally logic. Okay, okay. Nice. I'm gonna take another shot, but I don't care. I don't need to carry the game out. I just wanted to sneak some hash shells. And look at this, guys. We shot 2 times. 2 times, okay? And in 2 times, we already did 2.7k damage. Can you understand now why Wargaming decided to nerf that tank? It was logic and it was necessary. You can't keep yourself these kind of tanks in the game if you don't make sure that it doesn't destroy the game for others. 3 shots, more than 3k damage, and quite a lot of luck on the shot on the E100, gotta be honest. So feel free to tell me in the comments. I would be curious to know what you guys think about the nerf, especially for those of you who played the tank before it was nerfed. So literally OG players, gotta be honest. But yeah, now to be fair, this tank is still something. I'm not gonna lie, this tank is still something. But as it's extremely RNG dependent, let's say that the fun ratio dropped down, in my opinion. But that's only mine, and you're entitled to yours. Hope you enjoyed that video. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. And I'm gonna see you soon for a new one. Au revoir.